Are you wanting riverfront property? Me too. But no one thinks about all the negative things when it comes to buying and owning these riverfront properties. So today we're going to go over the things that are not so fun about living on the river. Then we're going to check out a cabin on the river right at the mouth of Cedar Creek where it goes into the St. Johns River. This is on the very north end of the Putnam County border. I'm Cody Bockheim. I'm your Putnam County realtor. If you're thinking about moving to the area and want to know more, please reach out and we can determine if it's the right place for you. Please like my videos and subscribe. It really helps people that are like you wanting to move to the area or know more about it. The algorithm helps them find these videos, so I would appreciate that. Since we're talking about the river today, I wanted to bring up something unique to the county. So there's a private island called Hog Island on the very bottom of Putnam County on the St. Johns River. It's 224 acres. Just last May of 2024, the main owner of the island applied to the county for a rezoning of the island to residential estate. This would now have 22 different parcels between 5 and 14 acres. So people are suspecting a luxury private island type of living here. It already has electricity supplied by Clay Electric, and AT&T provides DSL and phone there already. So it came up in the discussion at the meeting that, hey, emergency services, maintaining of roads, the county isn't going to want to foot those bills for, a private island. Why should other people be paying toward that? And the representative for the group applying said they're going to be fine with, maintaining the roads and pay more of a share for emergency services. Since that meeting, the county has decided to start implementing here shortly impact fees. So anyone building in the county, anyone even putting a mobile home on a property, they all have to pay this impact fee before building in the county. These fees are going to go toward emergency services and new roads and things like that. So the county has the right idea in mind because there's so many people wanting to build here. Okay, so riverfront properties. We know why you want it. You can fish, shrimp, crab, go boating, jet skiing, just hang out, enjoy nature right there. You can do all that on the St. Johns River. Along with that, you can go so far north and so far south, you can be in different counties just by your boat. So it gives you flexibility. You don't even have to go to land sometimes. You can just hop around the waterways. All right, so the first one, obviously, you do think about it, but it's flood zone. So not every home that's on the river is going to be more susceptible to the same amount of flooding. Some may not even. Your property could be more elevated than many in like the canal and creekways. And you could have a bulkhead, a seawall there protecting yourself from those large surges. And then your property may not even be close to the water. You may have a larger lot and you'd be closer inland, 100 yards or so. You obviously want to think about hurricanes when it comes to flooding, but a lot of the rains and the tides have to do with that. Hurricanes are bad, but they're a lot of wind, and some of that wind displaces the rain. But when you have not a lot of wind and more rain, you're going to have more problems. So when you're buying a property on the river or canal front, it's important to maybe get photos or be there in person during low tide and high tide to look at the soil level, to maybe is there some erosion happening, get ahead of any concerns that you have, maybe not knowing what the area is like. Maybe speak to the homeowner and neighbors about what the, seasonal weather, the hurricanes, how it is in that area. It's a big decision, so you want to make sure you have everything prepared for. But now we're going to talk about insurance. People like to bring up Florida and insurance. If you're not from here, that's a big talking point. Before coming here, people say, oh, the insurance is crazy. It's not every single home. So your area and your home has a huge part to do with it. That's why when getting a loan, you get 4-point inspections and lid mitigation. The better inspection that you get to provide to your insurance company to show that it is a suitable home, the lower rate that you'll have because the home is more qualified for storms and damages. So that's how it plays out. It's important to shop around or maybe find an insurance agent that has history with working with properties on the water and can give you more of a knowledge of what property you're buying and what to expect. All right, we're going to talk about riparian rights next. These rights are referring to your water access rights. And so riparian is going to be for streams, creeks, anything flowing, rivers, okay? And littoral rights are going to be for pooled bodies of water, so ponds, lakes, and oceans, believe it or not. So no, you don't own the water, and you can go to the county website and clearly see where your lines are drawn. There is a thing called accretion where land does build up over time being on that bank, and you are rightfully entitled to that accretion of land. So this last negative with owning a property on a river is going to be your docks and bulkheads. It's extremely important to examine and look at the quality of the dock in place and any seawall or bulkhead you have there in place, because they are not cheap to build new and not cheap to maintain. Some docks may be 50 feet, some docks are 250 feet. So these expenses are more than cars most of the time. Now, if you're getting a loan and you get a typical home inspection on the home for your loan provider, they're going to have you have that dock inspected with that home inspection company. But for your own peace of mind, I would have a dock specialist or a builder go out there and also look. Now, their opinion is not going to matter. You're not going to get some certificate saying that, hey, this guy says it's good to go, but these dock builders having them check it out, that's not going to count as a inspection for your loan. But it's a peace of mind, in my opinion, because I've seen, for instance, home inspectors that aren't dock experts or roof experts, but they can pinpoint, hey, that doesn't look right, but they can't tell you how to build it, how to fix it, the right way to go about it, but they can tell you that it's wrong. Then you're going to have to turn around and hire the dock builder to repair it anyway. So if you can get somebody who knows docks or bulkheads to even just look at it and give you a peace of mind, I think that's really important, because a lot of these home inspectors aren't experts. All right, there it is. We're going to check out this wood cabin on the Cedar Creek mouth going into the St. Johns River. this is where it is. Here is the dock. And so like I mentioned, this dock is almost 250 feet. It is a long dock. And so I wanted to show you where it is because so Cedar Creek, that opens up here to the St. Johns River. Let's show you how far you can go. St. Johns River. Go all the way up here. So you got Clay County, St. Johns County, keep going. You're in Jacksonville, Duval County. You're going through here, still the St. Johns River. And then there's the inlet outlet to the ocean. How cool. So go back down here. So this is where we were. Let's go south. So you can go down there in Deep Creek Conservation Area, go over here. Going past PALATKA. So here you have Dunn's Creek here. River goes that way. Little creeks go down into here and brings you all the way to Lake Crescent. So you can go to Lake Crescent all the way from that home back into here. And then here's Flagler County. So you can get places. All right, so there's the lake. Then you can keep going down the St. Johns River. Yes, it just keeps going. Here's Hog Island, Salt Springs, Ocala area. So this whole side of the St. Johns River is conservation area, wildlife management. So, yeah, you get the idea. Pretty cool. And then not far from the ocean either.